I want to give you all the tips that I use on how to find myself after a breakup. I want to give you my story because it's now been 5 years since me and this girl has been separated, but I've learned so much and I've went through my phase of emotional attachment to figure out who I am. I was so stuck on this girl and we were so one to where when we separated, I had to find myself again. By the way, if you guys don't know me, my name is Jerry. This is Jerry's Folder, and I like to share a lot of my insight and just my journey on life and what I've experienced so far being on this planet. I want to give you a brief backstory on my ex-girlfriend, and honestly, she was everything to me, but I realized that her differences and mine could not be compatible with each other. Now, backstory, I had a role in this breakup and so did she. We had equal parts in the breakup of this relationship, but we realized that it was best to be separate versus us being together. Me and my ex started dating in high school. We started dating in high school when I was a junior in high school and she was a sophomore. Now, she looked like she was already older than me. I typically like to go for girls that are mature and that sometimes look way older than you would think they would be. And we met. Of course, it was a kind of first impression look type thing. Funny story, we saw each other, we spoke, but I actually didn't approach her. I have never had the need to approach any female in my life. Every woman that I've dated, and I've dated at least 8 people in my life, they have all came towards me. Now, some of you might be like, okay, well, that was then, you can't say that now. That's true. However, I'm going off of all the experience that I had in the past. Now, me and this girl, we would do everything together. We would have sleepovers, we would go on vacations together. I mean, everything you would think of. We would have days where we would get in our emotions and just talk about things. But this is where it went wrong. We did not have the same mindset on life. We did not have the same perspective. However, we tried to kind of cope with it and deal with it. Not to mention, we had toxic characteristics in our relationship, and that also messed up a lot of things. Backstory of the entire relationship, I was at wrong at the beginning of the relationship and I didn't tell her about it. I did not say a one word to her about it. Now, it's hard for someone to come on camera and admit that they was wrong in a relationship, but I messed up. I rubbed it under the table, and then we just kept going. Now, this is the thing. When you fall off of the bandwagon of the train that you're on with a partner, they will sometimes notice and they will sometimes not notice. She didn't have a clue that I messed up. She didn't have any idea of my change of patterns and the change of cycles that I did and how I acted towards her. Now, over the course of the months, when they flew by, because they flew by, we started to kind of separate. And it was like we just got detached from each other. And I felt like, me personally, I was in a space where I wasn't totally ready to settle down. And I settled down with this girl for this period of time because I thought I found my home. And one thing that I want to say first, you never ever ever want to rely on a partner. Partners are not your they're not your God. Your partner is just supposed to be here on this planet to make your life easier and your life more worth living. And some people don't understand that, right? When I tell you we had days where we did everything together, I mean, I'm serious. Like, we was just that couple that would wear the same clothes, you know. Some days when I get to my apartment and she's there, she'll be cleaning stuff up, you know, she'll cook. There were days where she worked in my company for me and she called off of her job just to come work for me. And I felt so blessed to have her in my life. But I took it for granted. Let me ask you a question. Do you take people for granted? Do you take yourself for granted? If you do, what's the reason? What are you producing? What are you creating out of taking someone for granted? It's supposed to be a change in knowledge and value when you are in a relationship. It should never be you being 70% and the other person being 30%, or that person being 70 and you being 30. That's not how it works. You're supposed to be on one accord at all times. Now, of course, I had grieving, and maybe I should go back a little bit. Maybe I should go back to tell you that at the time that I messed up, from the time she messed up, it was a 6 months gap. And by the way, just so you guys won't be curious, what do I mean when I say I messed up, we messed up? I cheated. So did she. But she cheated due to false communication. If the communication wasn't never uneven, then we would never have this issue right now. We would never be separate. We would be together still. Even when I messed up at the jump, I feel like if it wouldn't have gotten serious in the relationship, I would have came clean to her. And I would have did it before it got super serious. I mean marriage, I mean kids, you know what I'm saying? But it was a definite learning curve for me. And guys, let me just tell you the truth. I had this thought in my head one day. I was like, okay. I was like, I think I want out. But then you had the other voice in your head that's like, if you go out, there's a possibility she won't come back. And guys, I was emotional. I was like, I'm going to miss the sex. I'm going to miss the personality. I'm going to miss the fun times. I'm going to miss the person that helps me out in my business. I'm going to miss just having someone who loves me and who I love. But then you're like, okay, how I'm feeling right now, is it beneficial? Is it worth it? Now, these are all the thoughts that you have when you are getting over a breakup, or even before you make that decision to break up with someone else. Because we all have to play through every single action that we take in the physical world. We have to play it in our mind, believe it or not. But this is the mental process that I went through before and after the breakup happened. Now, let me tell you this. I remember when we broke up, I felt like I was empty. Like, seriously. I felt so empty. To where when she was in the house, when she was in my house, and when we broke up, I was actually moving apartments, and she cried. I didn't feel nothing, only because I was already hurt. I did not realize that I was the cause of my hurt at that time. Now, some people might not believe that, but I messed up at the beginning. Whether or not she known, I still was in the wrong. But when I said earlier in the video that miscommunication occurred, miscommunication did occur during the process where she messed up, you know. And it all has to do with me in my eyes, because I had the choice to break up with her or to get space, and I had the choice to stay with her, and we just worked through it. I chose for us to separate. But this is where some people mess up. If you take a break and you separate, no more sex. No more spending time together for long periods of time. No more texting all day long. You have to separate. And that's what we didn't do. So I'm thinking we're still something in my head, and she's thinking something else because she went off and did something else. And of course, I felt like I was betrayed. I felt like she didn't care about the potential that we still had after the separation. Maybe in her mind, she thought I was actually done with her because how distant I have been. Now, mind you, earlier at the beginning of the video, I told you that I was starting to separate myself from her from the time that I messed up, and that was like a 6-month gap. Now, check this out. I could not express to you what made me come clean in the moment. Maybe it was because I had a good heart, or maybe it was because I wanted payback. But in all reality, I really didn't want both. I just wanted whatever that was happening to be over. That's the truth. And what I mean by that was, yes, I wanted her out of my life, but at the same time, I regretted that because I had that thought that what if I don't find someone else back like her? You know, what if I'm single for the rest of my life? And I'm sure a lot of people have that thought, because I have it every day till this day that you're watching this video. I feel like, What if I break up with this person and I would never find someone else that is equal to or even better than the person that I lost? Now, literally, that took me years. I was about to say months. That took me years to realize and to understand. I had to get over. I had to understand myself and who I was. I had to show myself who I was again. I gave myself up for this girl. So after that entire journey on backstory that I just went through, I want to explain to you how to practice self-care. Focus on taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally, because those play a part of your next relationship and going through this process now of refiguring out who you are. Engage in activities that bring you joy and prioritize things that will help you move forward in the goals that you have for yourself in your life. Even when it comes down to sleep, make sure you have enough sleep. If you are a person that exercise, do not stop exercising. If you're a person that get in a mind space to where you get depressed and you don't do anything and you lay in bed all day, go out for a walk. Go do something, don't pout in it. Do not listen to sad songs that will not help you self-develop in your past or who you once was that you was trying to regain back. I do not recommend listening to sad music. That was something that I did, and to be honest, since we are spiritual beings, literally music itself is spirit. So if you're listening to bad music that talk about I miss you but you left me, then don't listen to it, because it's going to make you depressed, it's going to make you sad, and you're going to want to go back to that person because they left you. So do not listen to depressing music. Reflect and learn. Literally, guys, you have to reflect and look back on that relationship. Consider what you learned in that relationship, good things and bad things. What you want to do in each relationship that you be in, you want to look for the value that comes from that relationship. Literally only look for the value. Now, and when it comes to value, me personally, I look at your characteristics. Are you polite? Are you generous? Are you caring? Not only that, but are you a helpmate? Are you someone that has goals, that want to do better, that is focusing on developing a greater purpose in life? Because at the end of the day, that is what a relationship is about, in my opinion. I feel like relationships are about becoming one and achieving life together and doing everything that has a greater purpose to produce more life, people, humans, anything that brings us joy. Rediscover your passions. Now, passions to me kind of mix in with self-care and being physical act and just doing not physical act physical active and just doing things that keeps you healthy and that keeps you just going and not just in a depressed state of mind. For me, I play drums, and at the time that me and Carly was dating, my drums that I was using, that I wasn't using, and literally she took that away from me. She took the time away that I could have been playing drums, but instead of playing drums, I was spending time with her and trying to make the relationship work. And I'm not knocking spending time with your partner. I feel like everyone should spend time with their partner, but we also need alone time, and that's where a lot of people don't have the ability to have a long time, especially if you have kids. Then you have to make time for your kids and your wife and your job and then yourself. And that can be hard to some people. You want to make sure that you surround yourself with great support, someone that has been where you are, when it comes to a heartbreak, someone that has been through that same situation that could possibly help you get past everything that you went through. Support is everything. One, because you move forward. Two, you see different perspectives on the problem or the event that is taking place. And three, support is good because they give you clarity, and clarity is what we want. Without clarity, we can't move forward because we will repeat the process if it's something that we struggle with or it's something that we don't understand. Guys, in this whole process, you have to set new goals for yourself. Use this period to set new personal goals and aspirations that you have for your life and that you want to accomplish now that you have the time again to revisit and redo the things that you want to do. Embrace being alone. At first, it's not going to be the easiest thing, but once you have been alone for some months, for some time, you're going to realize that you're better off. You're going to realize that you don't have to answer up to anyone. You're going to realize that you don't have to, just carry a bag of another person on your back. Because me right now, being single, I'm so free. I can go wherever, talk to whoever, do whatever without having to question. Even though I miss the value and the perks that comes with having a relationship, I can say that right now I'm able to do whatever I want. If it wasn't for me being in a relationship, I would not be able to make these videos as consistent as I have been. And I want to continue to be consistent in these videos with you, even when after I find a girlfriend. Use this time to reconnect with your inner self. Use this time to heal, even if you have to look back at those memories and pull all the great things that happen for that to bring you into complete solitude to be happy with yourself. Because here's the thing, guys. Most of you are not aware that everything in this world is revolved in patterns and systems. And if you are really wanting change, you can come to yourself. You can ask yourself questions. You can question things. You can be comfortable with your final decision in whatever you do. It doesn't even have to be just in relationships. It can be anything, as long as you are in sync with yourself and your truth within who you are. Like I said before, you have to avoid rebound relationships. You have to. And I know it's tempting. It's tempting for everyone, but you really need to focus on yourself. For me, this 5-year gap since I've been broken up from my past lover, I have been really enjoying being alone. I've attempted to date. Take that back. I haven't attempted to date, but I've attempted to talk to people. But I've realized in my purpose and what I'm trying to do and where I'm about to go, that right now is not the best time for me. So that's all I have for you. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you learned something from this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. If you didn't like this video, give me comments because I actually need to know where I need to improve in. If you like this video, explain why you like it. If you have any tips for me, please give me tips. If you have any type of feedback, I don't care if it's good or bad, give me the feedback. Good things are not good without the bad things. The only way you can grow is if you go through the pain and you move forward and take out the good things from that lesson to continue to improve. Until next time.